Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's wee Paddy from across the shop. Sorry, it's afternoon. Um, this is going to be a strange little video. Well, maybe not strange is not the word, but there's an awful lot at the minute people complaining about the price of knives or why you buy more expensive knives than budget knives that will do exactly the same job. And they're all right. I mean, everybody has a point in what they're saying, and I'm not saying that. We all have free speech, and it's never really bothered me that other people think I'm paying too much for knives, or why would I buy that cheap knife when I've got more expensive? It just all goes on. I would love us just to be able to let each other buy whatever the heck we like. I really don't appreciate other people telling me what I should buy. Now, am I guilty of doing that? Yeah, when I came around, and I suppose that's what I accept it more freely from people who are just around, because once you come into this hobby and you hear the price of some of the knives, you're thinking, oh my heavens above, I wouldn't pay that for that. And at that particular moment in time in your life, you wouldn't pay for it, and that's absolutely fair. And if you can't pay for it, that's fair as well. That's what life is. It's just not fair sometimes. That's the truth. It's just not. But I wanted to sort of put out what sort of collector I am now after being around a reasonable amount of time. I mean, I've been around this YouTubing about 6 years now. So my buying has changed. My thought process has changed. So I'm at a sort of level part, and it's a really lovely part where I try not to get too involved in the arguments over, why would you buy that and why would you not buy it. I buy whatever I can afford at the time. And if that's a high end knife, the joy of buying a high end knife to me is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I picked some of my collection, and this is one of my subs, Bo Rex, asked me he would like to see a comparison between the twisted assisted gambler, or not the gambler, is this a gambler? No, the twisted assisted traditional, and well, he actually said a brother knife and the Jack Wolf knives. So these knives are made by brother, the twisted assisted, as far as I know, and this is my newest brother knife. Now, these two knives are the oh sorry, and this bottom one, the three knives. These are all made in China, and I didn't buy these two. Everything else here I have bought with my own money, including this very cheap one. And that's fine. He wasn't suggesting anyway about money. He wanted to compare the difference. And I'm sort of going to do this because it is there's the two knives, right? When I look at them two knives, what do I see? I see two beautifully made knives. This backspacer is absolutely very, very adequate for what it is. Sorry, I'm not getting a good view here. Let's see. I've got me wrong. Taking glasses on again. Right. Sorry. I do that every time. So these two the back springs are pretty good. This is not as good as this one. This is perfection, but you can find little gappy points all the way up there. Is there any blade play on this? Absolutely not. Is there any on this? Absolutely not. Two fantastic knives for cutting. So you're not going to find this is in carbon fiber, this is in carbon fiber. This is titanium, and it's integral titanium. The bolsters and the backspring are all one piece, which gives that structural strength. Am I ever going to use it? No. Not to that strength that I'm going to damage it. This is not. This is separate bolsters pinned onto stainless steel frames. You have VG10, which is an excellent steel. Cuts like a demon, easy to sharp. This is an S90V, much more superior steel. Does it cut exactly the same as this? No, this cuts better, but it will do. Both will do my job, my daily tasks, without question. Now, as far as looks wise go, I'm going to take the Jack Wolf. I think it is stunning. I love the grind work. I love the hollow grind, which is down to a single digit behind the edge. It's just amazing. This one is a bit thick behind the edge, but it's not super thick. It will still cut everything I need it to cut. So these are two knives that are vastly different in price, £275, and this one's under 50 from Twisted Assisted. This is the Jack Wolf. Why do I have both knives? Because they're flipping good. They are lovely knives. And this knife is made in the price range. It is made better than most knives in that price range for me. A traditional knife. This is made with a traditional pins. You can't take this apart. Yes, it has a bit of a modern flair with a carbon fiber and things like that. So yeah, this is a fantastic knife for the price. This is a fantastic knife for the price. I'm quite happy with the price on this. And Paddy, you say, but you're getting given that for nothing. Yeah, but I didn't get this for nothing at £300. I didn't get this for another £200. I didn't get this. Do you know what I mean? I buy other knives. I've knives at over £300 that I've bent. This is 275. So I think for me, if I put this up against a traditional, this is a South African maker custom knife, this is better quality than this in a couple of ways, but I'm not going to run it down. I still love this knife. I think it's a really super knife, but what I'm getting in this is more than what I'm getting in this. Now, I'm getting a man hand making this knife. That is special, and that's why I love it. It's a handmade knife. And to be honest with you, some person making a whole knife from start to finish, it's really incredibly difficult for them to get the tolerances that somebody that's getting made. This is getting made. This is a modern interpretation of tradition. It's screwed down. You know what I mean? This one's still hafted when it's finished, but price wise, they're around the same price. Do I regret either of the buys? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's what I want to do, was throw in some other makers. There's a South African maker. This is an American maker. This is my GEC, my favorite GEC. This, when it came out, I think it was probably 150, 160. I can't remember, but I would have paid more for it because I think it is fantastic. And it's only got 440C. It's only got 440C, but it has some of the best bone that I have ever had on a knife. I love the bolster, which is done on both sides, which a lot of people don't, but I do. It's a GEC. It's my collecting brand. Absolutely super. Here's another knife that I bought that cost me under £20. What a beautiful big clip point on that. It's not particularly thin behind the edge, but it cuts and it will do my daily tasks the same as any of these knives. But it's cheap. Why did I buy it? Because I think it looks fantastic. For a budget knife, this is a Colt. Do you know what I mean? It's a lovely, lovely knife in hand. Great knife for cutting, and as an EDC knife, it's very good because you can poke and pry with that. The tip isn't that delicate, whereas maybe some of these are more delicate tips. I'll not be frightened to break this if I've got this in my pocket. I'll poke, pry, do whatever I want with it, because for under £20, I can replace it easily, or as easily as £20 comes. And that again depends on what your budget is. I can replace this easily. I can replace this easily. These are harder to replace. These break your heart if something happens to them. But then again, there's another American-made knife. So there's two American-made knives. You've got three Chinese-made and one South African. So what I wanted to do, and I chose all clip points because that's what was wanted in the question that Bo had asked. And I chose different American, South African, different makers, okay? Here's a new American company that I really did want to back and support. Now, this is not particularly well. You can see that it's not centered. I can't get it centered, but I do love the knife, and I know that they'll get better. It's a new company, and I'm happy to support them. They're an American company. Like I support my British companies, I'll support anybody that's going to give me a good quality knife, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the price is. If the quality of the knife is good enough for me, and this was £200 with very off-centered, but everything else about it is absolutely lovely. It's got Magna Cut steel, which I didn't have. It's very, very thin and slicey. An amazing slicey knife. Just amazing. So I have a wide variety of things that I collect, and I haven't even got my British models down here, because if I bring this down, if I bring this down with you and I put this down at, this is the mid-range UK custom maker. That's, this is probably between the 130, £140 mark. Look at that file work in the back. In fact, to me, this is an average price I would pay for this would be 150. The steel's not super brilliant, but it's O1 tool steel. You know, this steel here is 440. You've got VG10. You have 1095, S90V, Magna Cut, and this one is, I think it's ATS 34 or N690. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to check that up. But this is O1 tool steel. So, I mean, I do, and this is other custom makers. So I have a huge array of different price knives that, you know, that means something to me. Which one would I buy at a heartbeat? Again, absolutely all of them. Absolutely all of them. And if I had £275 when a Jack Wolf knife came out, I would buy it. This knife, I would happily give £275, £300 without a thought. It is absolutely super. And does it feel that different in the hand? To get back to Bo's question, let me just clear that there. To get back to Bo's question, this in the hand is absolutely super. Feels incredibly solid and has a super just ergonomic handle for me. This also has a super ergonomic handle. Is it as comfortable as this? When I squeeze tight, maybe not. But it would be, there's not a huge difference. There really genuinely isn't. What I'm paying for here is the materials. This carbon fiber, which is just nebula carbon fiber, is stunning. The titanium, the tolerance that is in this is just fantastic. The difference in the walk and talk, let me show you. And we'll do this one. Yeah, if you can't hear the difference, you know, that's, to me, that crispness that comes with these is just unbelievable. Really is. Listen to that. It's just so perfectly made, so perfectly put together. And so what if it's Chinese? I don't care. I literally do not care, because if it's my money I'm going to spend, you know, if it's that, if that's the knife that I want to spend my money on, and the quality I'm going to get for that is outdoing some of the custom. Now, there's nothing wrong with this custom maker. Please do not get me. It's just a handmade knife by one person. There's going to be little tiny flaws. And let me tell you, I would have to really hunt to find a flaw in this. It is stunning. It's satin blade. Look at that. It is just fantastic. But what I'm saying is it doesn't matter, because the value is to me. It's not to you. It's not to Mrs. Jones around the corner. The value of these knives are how they make me feel when I buy them. And I think I've showed it, you know, there's a British one. So we're overtaking the Chinese. And if you go through my box, there will be more other makes than Chinese. And that's a fact. There will be more other makes than Chinese. So I don't feel as if I'm supporting a Chinese nation. No, I'm not. You know, my British knives, I'll probably have more than any Chinese knives that I've got in here. These are the ones that people want to see a whole lot. And for whatever reason they want to see it, maybe they're unattainable to them at the moment, but they like seeing them. And that's what I've always done. I've loved seeing people's knife collections change. And they change. If you stay around long enough, your knife collection will change. Now, I don't mean that we're, you know, all of a sudden somebody's going to go from a $20 knife up to a $300, $400 knife. That will maybe never happen. But you will move up to medium knives, and you'll have some medium knives in your collection, because the temptation's too much. It's just too much. It overtakes your brain where you're thinking, right, if I sell this and I get that, I can get that. That's the way I work my collection, is trying to move on and to change my collection so that I have a whole rounded collection of knives. So what's the difference between this and this? The only difference is the money. But the materials, the complete fit and finish on this is way beyond this. In my eyes, is this knife gonna... I believe this knife would last me a lifetime and I can hand it down because it's so well made. I don't believe this will last me a lifetime. Not that it's a bad knife, it's a good knife. But if I was to use that on a regular basis, I think the parts in it would not match up to the parts and the fit and finish on this one. Does that make sense? This is an absolute, this is my joy. This is my collecting. Never mind all the expensive knives. This is one of my collection knives, and GEC and my custom maker and friend whose name's just gone, Ashley Harrison, completely out of my head. Ashley Harrison are my two collecting knives, the two collecting knives. They're not Chinese. But it doesn't matter, because if this is made by Chinese, I'd be buying it. You know, if GEC hadn't been bought by an American and run by Chinese, and they brought this quality out, I'd still buy it. Just like I'll buy this. This is an American made, absolutely lovely knife, but it's not perfect. But it's £200. The price sort of reflects that it's not perfect. Because if it was perfect, you'd be asking somewhere up there, 250, 275. But they need to sort out some of these teething problems, because I'm not the only one that's had off-centered blades. What am I trying to say? Is I really wish we would stop focusing on how much a knife costs, because if that person, me included, buys that knife, it's because they like it. And they have been able to find the money from somewhere to buy it. So these are all good knives. They will all, yeah, even this $20 one, it's a great knife. And if you want just a knife to throw in your pocket and you're not going to care about, absolutely good knife. Will it hold its edge as long as these higher end ones? No, it won't. It's only $4.40. You know, $10.95 will last longer than that. But $10.95 in the traditional knife, it's not going to do. I'm not going to be out chopping down branches off trees with any of these knives. I've got bigger knives that'll do that sort of a job. And I've got them from the cheaper up to expensive, because I love the variety of having it there. I mean, none of these are in the same price bracket, yet there's a bit of a difference between all of them. And that's the way it is. So there we go. I just fancied a wee chat and talk about it. And I'm not upset, or I'm not trying to get at anybody. So if you're that person, do not think it. That's not what I'm trying to do. But for value for money, the budget end knives, at the moment, we are living in an absolute paradise for budget knives. It is amazing. Sorry, my hands are flailing about up here. It's just, they're above my head. We are so lucky, because even when I started 7-8 years ago collecting knives, the quality for the price that you're getting now has been surpassed nearly a lifetime's worth. Do you know what I mean? We can get M390 for 50 quid. It's just blows. But in a good knife, it's not a bad knife. It's a good knife. There's one here in the UK. Well, it's an MKM. Yeah, I think it's an MKM, an Italian-made knife. M390 for 50 quid. It's maybe not run as hard as the Italians don't tend to run them as hard as other knives. Look, I'll be perfectly honest. I can't really tell the difference. I know I'm getting a great material with this, and I have every confidence that this will do anything that I want. And I love watching Stasa, because he does a cut test, and I really appreciate Stasa doing that. I don't have the technical skill. It would take me about 3 weeks to do all that. But I like watching him, and I have channels that I watch, and when they say it's good, like Pete Cedric and Ada, he does his tests, and both the boys leave them up to you to decide, is that good enough for you? And when I see Stasa doing one, and he says that's good enough, I had really good results, it was still sharp at the end of it, I'm happy. Is that me projecting onto somebody else? It doesn't really matter. I trust Stasa, and if he says it's a good cutter and it lasted well, it went through whatever materials, and he puts it through quite a lot of materials, I'm happy. Is this run 2 degrees less than something else? I don't know. Is this run 2 degrees? Well, this is a custom, so I would say this is probably very well done. MagnaCut, this one's only at 61. The newer ones are now at 64, 63, 64. Will that make a difference to me? Does it put me off this knife? Absolutely not. I still love it, because there's other benefits to having that knife. It's light. It's robust for a light knife. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Please tell me you know what I'm saying. But I would just love people to stop criticizing what people's buying. And do you want to know something? I probably did it in the beginning too. I've said that. So I'm no blooming saint in this, but I just would love the less. And let's just enjoy what each other's got. I'm at a price bracket that I'm comfortable at, which is around my maximum sort of 300, except my Chris Reeve and my Hinder. And, not many more. But I'm at my maximum at about 300. That's where I max out, because I can sell stuff to get anything in that bracket. I can sell a couple of knives of other varieties to get one of them knives. And I'm enjoying every minute of it because I never, honestly, you know what it's like when you come around. I would never have spent £50 on a knife without having to cry about it. So I've changed an awful lot. And that's this hobby. And I think, do you want to know something? I think when it comes to, I think the biggest problem is that a lot of people are being judged because they're calling them shills and things like that. I get knives given to me. There you go. I don't get as many. I'm not trying to make a living out of this. I don't get as many as I could. I know I could get an awful lot more, but I tried that and I didn't really like it. I was under too many people's obligations, firms that wanted the Chinese companies will send you them, 5, 6 a week if you want. Do you know what I mean? And more if that's what you particularly want. I don't want that anymore. I don't want it. I like to be choosing what I'm buying. I like to say what I like about a knife. And I'm very choosy about who I let send me knives now. That sounds crazy, but I am very choosy. Because I suppose I'm going to waffle off on another tangent here. There was a time when I was asking for knives, and I'm over here in Northern Ireland, and I was asking for people to send me knives, and they weren't interested. Now some do, and you'll find people that do, and you'll find I had companies that give me from their collections to sell, like Heine Haynes, which I really appreciate. They were very good at doing that to me. But a lot of the more major brands across in America wouldn't send them over here, and that's quite sad, because I think I had enough subs and subs who were buying on my recommendation, but it didn't happen. So, and British companies trying to get knives off British companies, to show and to tell, it's really, really difficult. It's really difficult. So, there's two things China have got. They have got much better at making knives. They have got much better at getting their knives out to people to show. And the quality, the ordinary quality is very, very good. But they're not afraid to publicize it. And I think using more, especially even new people around the community, I think these bigger knife companies should start sending them more knives. Let them get their horizon widened. Like I said, when I first came around, this sort of price range, the higher end, was not available to me. So do that with somebody who's just around, because they'll change. But they're going to be giving you a fresh perspective on your knives. So I just think the newer channels around should get more of a help. I don't need help anymore. I don't want to build. I had a collection of over 400 knives at one stage. I'm down to 150 half-decent knives. And that is plenty for me. I don't need any more than that. And the fact that I chop and change now makes it exciting. My collection changes all the time. And this week I'm going to do my GEC collection update. If anybody would like to see that, please let me know in the comments. If you don't, let me know in the comments. But I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to start doing, a few more of the collections that have changed a lot. I've got a lot more case knives now than I used to do. I've been collecting old-timer knives more than I done before. That sort of old American type knives. So let people do what they want to do and just enjoy the fact that they're able to do it in whatever price range and they're enjoying it. To come on and get criticised for what you're buying, it's a bit hard to, it's soul destroying sometimes. You just think, well, what have I done wrong? I've bought a knife and I'm showing it to you. I mean, most of them I'm not trying to sell to you. Some I'm trying to promote to you, but I'm not certainly trying to sell them. I'll promote them and I'll tell you what I think of them. There you go. Paddy's had a wee rant. It didn't start out as a rant, and I just wanted to answer that question. And the question is, there's nothing wrong with this knife. It's a great knife. It's well made. It's good materials. There's nothing wrong with this. In fact, this knife is just stupendous when I put it against this knife. It's night and day. And it's night and day between this and this, which are much closer in price. It's night and day between this and this. It's night and day between this and this, and this would be outstanding compared to this. There you go. It's what you like and what you're willing to pay for makes the knife what it is to you. Don't let other people influence how you feel about it. Just be honest and tell what you're feeling about the knife. And every one of them knives there, I love them. They're mine. I bought them. Most of them. 2 I didn't. The rest I did. The rest I did. There was only 2 on that table that I didn't buy. And I wanted to put them in there because that is my collection now. That is my... I don't take many knives that I review for other people now. So there you go. I'm a flipping angel. You're so lucky to have me. Take care. Paddy's away for a cup of tea. Thank you so much. If you made it to the end, do me a favour. Would you hit the subscribe button on your way out? Because I want to know how many mental people I have in my club. So take care, everybody. All the best. Paddy's away. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry about the drawing. I was going to do the drawing. I'll do it tomorrow night on a live. That I was supposed to do on Sunday. We went down to the caravan on Saturday. We were going to stay down for the weekend. I would do the drawing all down there. But we decided the weather was atrocious and we decided to come up home last night. And I didn't get time to do a video. So I'll do it tomorrow on the live. We're doing a live tomorrow night with Jack Wolf Knives with Big Ben. He's coming on for a chat and let us know how he's doing. We haven't seen him for a couple of months, so I'm really looking forward to catch up with him and see if there's any more plans we can wheedle out of him while he's on the channel. Take care. Bye-bye.